Todd, thank you so much for being here and being willing to kind of share your transformation or lack thereof transformation story. I always like hate to call it a transformation when you come into something already pretty amazing. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a polishing or a refining story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think transformation's a fair
Okay.
description. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
great for us.
All right. Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
we'll take it. We'll share with everyone. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And where do you do it?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the opportunity to be here. Excited to talk to you about it. My name's Todd Pisarczyk. I'm a financial advisor trying to be more of a CEO at Momentus Wealth Management. We are in Vancouver, Washington. We're a RIA here. We now have 8 employees. So we have 5 advisors, 3 support staff. And yeah, I've been doing it. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary this year. So
Oh, that's amazing. And so,
yeah.
what I loved about your story is when we started working together, it's not like there was anything inherently broken. And, I always say that people come into the program, it's not necessarily that clients are leaving in droves because they hate your service, that things are falling apart, that you're, ready to commit to a mental hospital because everything is so crazy. Like, that's not your story. So,
Yeah.
what was your business like before coming into the Systems to Scale
Do you
program?
have those stories?
No, but I think that's what people think is like you have to be this like huge mess in
Yeah.
order to
Yeah.
benefit from something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. So where I was at, um, I started the business just by myself. I worked at a brokerage firm way back in the day. I started right out of college. And you hear stories all the time about, like a dentist or a chiropractor or something like that, where they're running this business and they went to medical school, and they weren't used to getting business training. And eventually they're trying to figure out how to run this business. And I think that oftentimes in our business, that can be overlooked because we think that since we're doing, investments and we're working with companies and all that kind of stuff, that we might be more adept at this stuff, but I wasn't trained in HR and all these other things that it takes to run a business. And so, just over the years, all of that got a bit more overwhelming. There's parts of it that I really enjoy, but we kind of hit that crossroads, I feel like, probably like a lot of advisors where thankfully the business grew. Like I said, when I first started, it was just me. And then along the way, we've just added people little by little to the point where we got to, well, we just hired our 8th person a few months ago, but before that, we were at 7 people and really just kind of struggling with, it kind of feels like a real business now. It's like we grew to the point where it's like, wow, we really grew up, and then you start to have those thoughts of, what if something happens to us? My business partner Linda and I, we really feel like we know how to do everything. We feel like we were doing a really great job for clients. But the issue is just really, how do we repeat that? How do we pass that down to the next generation? So just all these thoughts at once, really trying to figure out just personally what I wanted my life to look like because, after being an advisor for so long, I had really felt like it was time for me to move more into a full-time CEO role. Part of that was out of necessity to the firm, but also just for me, that's something that I really enjoy. So just trying to look at like what would I be passionate about moving forward? What would allow me to kind of be excited to show up to work every day. So going
Yeah.
through all those things,
Well, I
and then
love
we
it.
met.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love it because I want to normalize for
Yeah,
advisors
yeah,
who've been at this a while that it's okay to feel that way. I think
yeah,
sometimes we think like, oh gosh, I've been in the business for 20, 30 years, 10, 15 years, however many years, I should like I always hear these shoulds, like I
yeah,
should be better at this or I should have more processes or I should and it's almost like from the outside looking in, everything looks really great, but inside, almost everybody has some sort of part of their business that is
yeah,
broken or messy. And
yeah,
you alluded to exactly that, right? I grew up at a broker dealer. They did a great job teaching us how to sell, how to position product, how to be an advisor and deliver financial advice. But
yeah,
I remember the day that I had that realization that, oh my gosh, like I actually own a business. Like I have to like do businessy things. Like it's
Yeah,
not like oh,
yeah,
when I was 23 and I was like, I'm gonna own my own business and it's gonna be so cool and I can sleep till noon and it's gonna be great. And it turns out that is not the case. Like that is
yeah,
not how that works. So what made you say yes specifically to this program?
yeah. So, I was doing individual coaching with you.
Mhm.
And, one of the first things actually, to your point that you were just talking about, it was interesting because I remember one of the first exercises that you and I went through when you were coaching us individually was just this idea of creating roles for everybody.
Mhm.
And just a very simple idea. And to your point about just what we came up learning in the broker dealer world, that was mind blowing to me because I'm like, wait a minute, this is not an exercise I've ever even done in 20 years. We all just kind of do stuff like we do, it needs to be done, right?
Right.
So just a good example. But what made me say yes specifically to the group coaching was doing individual coaching with you just made me realize how important all the stuff was that we were working on because, frankly, in the beginning, I knew I needed to get organized. I didn't really know what that was going to look like. But then hearing about your group coaching and realizing that I could do all the same stuff that we were working on, but also having the support of other advisors, being able to be a part of that mastermind kind of mentality. And then also all the special guests that you had. When I saw the lineup of other contributors to the program, it was really exciting. So those are the two things that really, again, made me jump on specifically to the group coaching, um, to have those opportunities.
Okay, so one of the questions that I get all the time from people who are considering it, right, is number one, is it right for me, right? Which is something that they and I have to go on a little journey to try to understand whether or
Yeah,
not it is.
yeah,
But the other question I get asked a lot is like, well, what kind of results can I expect from the program? So for you, having done individual work, but then also from the group, what would you say is like the most tangible, quantitative, or qualitative? Like, what is the result that you've really seen having gone through it now?
yeah. Um, there's so much. So it's actually really hard because, the program was, I mean, almost a year.
Hmm.
So in preparing for this interview, like to look back and just see all the stuff we did, it was incredible. But I think that if I were to summarize it all, what I really liked about the program is the fact that like each week you're doing something. So it's not, I've gone to a ton of conferences and things like that and practice management events where you learn stuff.
Hmm.
And I feel like what you're really learning is just ideas and concepts, but it's really hard to take that and make it actionable. So what I loved about the program is the fact that like each week you gave us an assignment and it was like, okay, you like do this week. The pace was great, right? So I feel like each week we were actually able to get the stuff done. But just the fact that we now have things documented. So I think like we'll talk more about specifics later on, but if I were to just like really summarize everything, it's the fact that Linda and I had all these things that we did that just kind of came natural to us, but we couldn't teach any of it. And
Mm.
so we now have like documented processes for everything. We are now starting the process of building all that into our CRM. And so everything will just be completely dialed. But I think that's the number one thing is really just we have documentation of what we actually do. And we've created some really cool things along the way also. So
Okay, like what? Give me an
yeah,
example. What's
yeah.
something cool that you created?
So, like our onboarding process, I know that you're big on onboarding process,
Mhm.
but just the fact that like before our onboarding process consisted of because I heard this someday. Like I remember hearing this from some training at my broker dealer like 25 years ago. Like, oh, when I sit down in a meeting, I just sit down with a yellow pad and I just ask the client like, what do you want? Like, what questions do you have, right? And for 20 years, I thought that was really cool, because I heard it from this guy like 20 something years ago. Um, well, now we have an actual like process that we take clients through.
Hmm.
Um, and we have all that documented on our website. So like if a client's getting ready to work with us or interested, we have a really cool document that lives on our website, and we say, hey, here's what it looks like, right?
Hmm.
We have the same thing now for when we work with clients. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of from the program is that we have a very planned out client service model now. I wouldn't,
Amen.
yeah, I wouldn't think that client service or, like doing our client meeting. I mean, frankly, I wouldn't have thought that was a process, right? I'm like, well, yeah, like we just when it's time for the client's review meeting, they come in and, we do a review. But now we do strategy sessions, not reviews,
Yes.
right? And but it's cool. We have it planned out for the next 3 years, what we're doing for clients. And typically, most of our clients we meet with twice a year. And in the spring, we spend that time trying to update all of their financial plans. So that's our big planning meeting. We
Mhm.
have themes around
Great.
what we're going to do. So like this last go around, we emphasized estate planning as an example. And then in the fall, we bring everybody back in, and we've decided in those meetings we want to do a more detailed portfolio review. But then also, that's our big tax planning meeting. And frankly, tax planning wasn't something that we were really doing before we met. I didn't really know what to do or how to do it. And now we have some really neat checklists that we've gotten from you. And so our clients love that. I mean, it's really cool to just sit down with clients. And the other thing we found from this is I'm sure a lot of advisors experience, especially clients that have been working with them for a while, that maybe they don't come in for all their reviews. Like
Mhm.
we were noticing more and more that we'd reach out to clients every 6 months. It's like, hey, it's time for your 6 month review. And over time, like it kind of dwindles. We don't get as many people. And we're thinking, hey, that's fine. Like we're contacting them, we're doing a good job for them. They don't feel the need to come in. But what we've noticed is now that the client knows what they're coming in for and they know that there's a plan, it's like rarely anybody misses their meetings now. Like it's
Oh, I
pretty
love
cool.
that.
So,
Well,
yeah.
and how does that, so you have 3 years kind of mapped out, which is great from like an organizational standpoint, right? Like you know
Yeah.
what's coming, you know what you need to prepare, you know what you need to ask clients for if there's something in advance. But how does that make you feel? Like, how does it
Yeah.
feel to be able to be like, okay, we've got 3 years mapped out?
Yeah. I just I can't tell you how like excited it makes me feel because like I always knew we did a good job for people and we got great feedback from
Yeah.
clients and our business has grown and we've gotten a ton of referrals. Like you said, like nothing was broken. But to just like you always wonder, I think, like as a business owner and somebody who wants to make sure we're doing the best job we can for clients, like you always kind of wonder, are we doing the right things? Am I doing a good job? It's a big responsibility, like managing people's assets. So
Yeah.
to just know, like, hey, there's a plan. Um, even for clients' reviews, like just, before it was like we were updating clients' plans. We would do it every year, but it was like everybody was on a different schedule, right? So
Mhm.
as an office, we feel much more organized because we know, hey, everybody's plans are getting updated in the spring. And frankly, even if they don't come in, we still update it and then I send them a video review. So it's like we know that everybody's on track, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um, we know that nobody's falling through the cracks. It just gives you such peace of mind, just kind of knowing that like it's like when you're in college and you had homework and it's like you're always stressed out when your homework's not done and you can never really relax because you're like, oh, I have it's like we know that's done. It's like just this weight lifted that you just know, like, okay, I have everybody moving in the right direction and there's a plan and yeah, it feels great.
That's amazing. So what else, like what would you say for you as the owner of the business? What else has changed for you over the last, 12 months?
Yeah. I think we have the confidence now. I mean, before the program, you get to a point where, again, we were feeling so, I don't know, I guess overwhelmed is probably the right word, to the point where, like we're at the point where a lot of people start to get offers from other firms to buy you out, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you start to wonder, like, well, would it be better for my clients for me to just take that offer, to, plug into their program? Like, would that be better for my clients? And so now that we have things set up the way that we do, um, because I've always had this dream of like, I want to build this firm that lasts far beyond me.
Hmm.
Like I want to retire, but I still want the firm to be around. My oldest son just started working with us. He's the new hire we've been talking about, our fifth advisor. But we have other young people here as well. And my dream is really to pass the firm on to them. Like I want this to be around. And it's really just given me the confidence to know that can happen. Like to know that there's a plan, to know that there's systems,
Hmm.
um, that things are repeatable, so that when the time comes where we can't or no longer want to do this, we know that it can continue. And I think that the cool thing for me is it's really given me the I guess the guts to kind of say, hey, our goal, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but uh it's like we've gone from like, what are we doing? Are we doing things the right way to like our goal now, our mission is to literally try to be the best firm in the Northwest. Like that's kind of our, one of the things we did through the programs, we set some goals and, and yeah, I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, let's just go for it because what else are we doing? We may as well. Like I coach a high school baseball team on the side, my side job. And I was thinking about it because, what makes that fun, what makes being a part of that team fun is like you're showing up every day trying to win state. You're trying to be the best team. And that's what makes it fun to have this group of people that whether we can or not, we have this goal of like, we want to be the best team, right? So I
Yeah.
just thought one day, why wouldn't we be doing that at work? Like, why wouldn't our goal as a team here to literally just try to be the best? And whether that's possible or not, who knows? But that's what we're doing. And it's really fun.
Well, I love it because what I heard was a few minutes ago you saying that you were in a place where you're like, okay, we're doing a great job, but would our clients be better off with someone else? To
Yeah.
this huge switch in my mind, at least it seems pretty fundamental of actually no, they're going to be the best with us because we're literally going to be the absolute best
Yeah.
firm that they could possibly work with. Like
Yeah.
that's a big leap.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so one more question, is there anything kind of coming out of this program that you feel the most proud of, or was like the biggest shift for you that was unorganized before that now you feel like, oh, there's so much more
Yeah.
clarity? Or is there anything just that you feel like super duper proud of the work that you put in?
Yeah. It's the tangible stuff. I feel like it's little things. There's so much. I mean, I will say that what I just described is probably the thing that we're most proud of is just the fact that I feel like overall, I mean, that's the important thing is I'm like, I would put our process and what we're doing as a firm and our people up against anyone I can think of. But also there's some fun stuff.
Hmm.
Like, one of the exercises we went through was, again, this is an idea from you, but these little gift boxes, right? So now we have a gift box that we give to new clients that includes some little things from all of us that are some of our favorite things. And again, that was an idea that we got from you. And it's funny because all this stuff going on behind the scenes, that's cool for us. But I think oftentimes the clients don't see a lot of that.
Right, right.
But we're trying to do everything with also a little bit more like splash. And
Yes.
for me, the whole idea of client service and hospitality has always been really important, but I haven't had time to think about it, frankly, right? So these are the kind of things now that we have things more dialed in that we can also start to say, okay, like how can we do this process, but also with more just fun and emphasis on the client and just really like wow them. And that's the fun part. And I think, you know, kind of some of the stuff we're most proud of is just the way we're able to make the clients feel throughout all this as well. Because
Hmm.
again, they don't know whether you have a process documented in a contact management system or
Right.
not. They don't know that. But
And they don't care.
no, right. But they know how you make them feel when they show up to the
Right.
office. And I think that just as a business owner, if you have things, if you have your stuff in order and you're not stressed out all the time, you can really show up better for clients. And it's not like this stressful thing when a client comes in where you're like, oh, I have all these meetings today and I'm stressed out and I have so much to do, because I think that comes across to the client. But again, you have all that stuff figured out, you have everything dialed in, and it really just allows you to show up better and be more engaged, and really be able to spend your time on the stuff that matters and really getting to know your clients, and
Yeah,
it's at
yeah.
another level.
So
So
I love that. It's like at the beginning, I was talking about like, okay, it's not necessarily that people are delivering bad service or that they're curled up in this straight jacket in the corner, which by the way, I'm just not licensed to be able to deliver help for that kind of a thing. But it's really about like wanting, like I meet so many advisors who want to do better. Like they know that
yeah,
they're capable of more, or they know that they're doing a good job, but they want to be remarkable, or we're doing a
right.
great job planning, but we know that experience isn't what we're capable of. And
Yeah,
that is the stuff that's kind of the shot in the arm that makes this job fun after you've been at it for a little while. And it can get a little, it can get a little monotonous and you can
yeah,
get a little
yeah,
bored in what you're doing. And I like to think that a lot of that, those extras, the fun stuff, kind of reinvigorates your passion for the business or the
right.
joy that you have. Well, and this is where I think too, it's not necessarily a program designed for people who have no processes and have no idea what they're doing and are brand spanking new. It is really more for people who are great at what they do. They're not worried about paying their mortgage. They just really want to fine tune it so they can delegate more, they can automate more, but they don't know necessarily what they're delegating or automating or having a structure to do that. So, is there anything else that you would share with someone who is contemplating joining us?
Yeah. What I would say is I I discovered early on that I didn't even know how much I needed this until I got into the program, right? So
Mm.
I knew the things that I mentioned earlier about just, hey, we kind of want to get more organized. We want to take things to the next level. I knew that, hey, it's probably a good idea for me to take on more of the CEO role, but I didn't really know how to do it or what that looked like. And then as soon as we dove into this to the program, it was just like, wow. Like I needed it way more than I even knew. And so I would say that if someone is even thinking about this, like there's no question, because once you get in and get going, it's gonna even, I think for us, it actually exposed even more weaknesses than what we thought we had, you know?
Mhm.
That's the last thing I would share is just whatever you're thinking now, it'll be magnified by 100 once you get going. And also just learning from the other advisors in the group was so cool. Like
Yeah.
just like you said, in general, what I got the feeling of is that the people that were in the group were all people. It was not a group of people, like you said, that were just, all these advisors were
A
great.
hot mess. There's not a
Yeah.
bunch of hot messes. Even though they might
Yeah.
feel like a hot mess, they weren't.
Yeah. So running great practices and just to be around a group of people like that was really cool. So, I mean, that part too, I didn't even understand how powerful that would be until I got going.
I love that. And I mean, and honestly, the real hidden gem of the program is getting to hang out with me so frequently. And I am the key to every no. I was joking. I was like, I can't believe his proudest moment wasn't becoming best friends with me over the course of 10 months, but that's okay. I'll move on from that, I guess. I won't take it personally. Well, thank you so much for just sharing. Thank you, number one, for being a coaching client. Number two, for going through the program. And number three, for being such an advocate. And I am so proud of what you've built and how you've refined it over the last couple of years. And the sky is literally the limit for Momentus. It's amazing to watch.
Oh, I appreciate those words, Libby. It's fun to be able to share. And I think that it's kind of proof that, one of the big focuses on all this is like, hey, like you're trying to create clients that are raving fans, and that's what you've created in our firm. So like we're excited to come on and share every opportunity we get. So thank you for the work you did for us.
Oh, awesome. You're the best. Thanks so much.
Yeah.